Good morning everyone. Today we're going to take a bit of a walk around the entire island of Gilli Meno, which shouldn't take us too long, probably about an hour I imagine, depending on how fast we go across. It's just so peaceful and tranquil and quiet, and the waters are almost pristine. The people are really friendly. There's Gilli just across the way. I've heard in the past some people saying that, oh, I could swim that distance, that's not that far. You probably could, but there's a trench that runs through between the two islands, and it's a really strong current apparently, so you're probably advised not to attempt that little swim across the Gilli. I'm going to head to Gilli in a couple of days. I think it's going to be pretty hard to drag myself away from Meno, because it really is so friendly and so nice, and the coral beaches, and it's clean, and if you stand on the shore long enough, you'll see a school of fish or a turtle, and hopefully we might get to see one of them a little later. But yeah, so we are heading around the island Gilli Meno today and see what we can see, which probably won't be a lot other than sort of tropical island stuff. But I know there are quite a few of you that had considered in the past perhaps coming to islands like this instead of maybe Bali or somewhere else, and it's just so convenient. It's very close. It's a bit of the thing you don't know, so you don't take that step. But yeah, look, I can't rave about. Selamat pagi, apa kabar? Baik. I can't encourage people to perhaps try something a little different. Selamat pagi, apa kabar? Try something a little different than maybe Bali. But anyway, I'll stop talking now and we'll push on and see what we can see. This seems to be where most people are leaving on their snorkeling trips and dive trips from. I was having a chat to a couple of the guys in that bar there last night, and during that time there were a lot of guides coming back and forth bringing the people in for food and drink. They've probably got some sort of relationship between the bar and the dive and snorkeling crews. But can you just see how clear and clean that water is? It's just beautiful. And of course everything's for hire. You can take a little. There's a couple of fellow YouTubers doing a little bit of vlogging themselves. Can you see that? And yeah, so most of us things are for hire. You can take the boat for yourself. I'm not sure what the prices are. I should really find that out, shouldn't I? But everyone heading out on their morning snorkel. Some guys, I met 3 German guys yesterday who were they were on their 3rd dive for the day, and that was getting into the later part of the afternoon. So some people come here with the intention of just having a quiet, relaxing kind of holiday, whereas others are really focused on the marine life and having to dive and seeing what's under the water. This is where I was yesterday. Last night I thought I was going to have quite a night out, but it turned out I just had a quiet beer by the bar, and I was really kind. Sorry, these guys were really kind to me. This gentleman behind the bar, his name is Indra. Apa kabar, Indra?
Good. Yeah.
Indra is one of the fastest, best cocktail makers I personally have seen in the Gilli Islands. And this man tries to speak more languages than he can. He's really convincing. He's really convincing. But these guys are really nice guys. If you're going to come and stay on Gilli Meno, I suggest you drop in and see Indra and the guys and say hello. They'll do everything they can for you. And what else about this place? Oh, they were even kind enough to give me the controls for the music, and that quickly turned into a blues session for everyone on the beach, because that's what I like. So yeah, I guess the name should be said to you. The name of the place is called Nama di sini Diana. Nama di sini bar ini.
The sister of the owner.
Diana.
Yeah. Sister of the owner.
It's named after the sister of the owner.
Yeah.
Okay, so the name of the bar is Diana, named after the sister of the owner. There's a family that owns the land along a portion of this beach, and they've all taken up a small business. And I think I was talking to this lady yesterday. Hello. She looks quite busy, but anyway, let's keep going. One thing, of course, that we're seeing more and more of are these more modern style luxury accommodation units that are popping up around Gilli Meno, where once it was a bit of a Robinson Crusoe type island. It's now attracting a lot of sort of wealthier people that Selamat pagi. A lot of wealthier people that are perhaps looking at Meno and the Gilli Islands as an alternative to their Bali holiday. As many of us know, Bali, particularly the southwest region of it, is really becoming quite traumatic to visit with the traffic, and I see, you know, the street dogs are coming back, and so yeah, I understand why people might need another option, but there's a sense of loss in a sense, because it really was such a simple, pleasant island. I used to live on the north end of the island in a simple bamboo hut that had no toilet, and there was no electricity here at that time, back in the, oh, this is the early 90s, I guess, or 1990. And you used to walk around with a little lamp to see with, and if you wanted to get something to eat, you had to walk into the village and throw yourself at the mercy of one of the ladies in there and ask for a coconut, some chicken and rice, which they were happy to provide for you, but there was nothing that was sort of formally set up for tourists and that, and it was really was a sort of a getaway, a bolt hole out of the world. This is what's happening. This is what looks like a, you know, type beach club type thing that we see a lot of now in places like Canggu and Seminyak on Bali, and it's just a bit of a pity that it's starting to creep in here. And hopefully, look, you can't begrudge people wanting the holiday that they want, you can't begrudge the people, you know, making a living, but there is a sense of loss because it's now changing here. You know, what's happening in Bali is now seen to be creeping in here, and yeah, it's not going to be the tucked away little oasis that it once was, unfortunately, but it's still great to be here. Anyway, enough rambling, let's move on and see what's ahead. Just to give you an idea, a lot of people do take one of the tours or little boats and do a bit of snorkeling a little bit further out, but there are two people snorkeling here, and they're, what, perhaps not even 20 meters off the shore, and I can assure you that all this directly off the shore here is teeming with fish and great corals. Again, and I say again because it wasn't that long ago, perhaps 30 years ago, 40 years ago, the fishermen here used to bomb for fish. This is before the idea of ecotourism and that had hit the island. So they would dynamite for fish, and so the corals were affected, and for a long time it didn't recover. Then the people were educated and told that you know, if we stop doing this and sort of rejuvenate the marine life, people will pay to see the turtles, people will pay to see the wonderful corals. And so of course that's what's happened, and this may also be a contributing factor to how or why these islands now are really starting to explode, with of course the benefit of relatively cheap airfares, even though we're not experiencing those at the moment. They'll probably reduce in time, I imagine, again. But so yeah, initially these reefs and corals were decimated almost, and it's only now that they're starting to come back. This is a really quite dry and barren track to be telling you all of this, isn't it, really? All right, on we go. Just about getting to the southern end of the island now. I guess it's taken us, what, 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get this far. People are starting to rise and have their breakfast. These are quite cute little little huts. I don't know what you'd pay here. I imagine it wouldn't be that cheap. You're probably looking at maybe $30, $40 a night. It's got the pool, but these big places continue to pop up. We'll just go through this little archway of trees and see how close to the southern tip we are. Yeah, so I don't know with this GoPro if you can see how close Gilli Meno actually is, but it isn't that far away at all. It'd only be 5 minutes on the boat. Oh no, we still have quite a way to get to the southern tip, so best stop hanging around and start getting there. Selamat pagi. Are you taking the boat this morning?
Yes.
Are you going for snorkeling or diving or?
We're going to the Brew Meet Stay Bell.
The what?
Are you familiar with the Brew Meet Stay Bell?
Is that a horse stable?
It's a stay bell.
It's a stay bell, okay.
We're
So
going.
it's some horse riding, is it?
No, we're going to Lombok.
Oh, nice. Have you been there before? It's great.
No, first time.
If I could recommend going south to Kuta, it's the beaches. There's like so many deserted beaches.
Awesome.
I hope it's a great travel day for you.
Thank you.
See ya. So I guess one of the other benefits of traveling to this sort of area is in such close proximity you have so many variations of tropical life, or beach life particularly. The southern parts of Kuta, as some of you may have seen, where I toured around on a bike for a while. If you haven't, go check that out. There's only a quick boat ride across the Lombok. The local boat is like $1 to get here. You can get here, I think it's $20 US from Bali on a fast boat. So between Lombok, the Gillies and Bali, you have what I would suggest would be a good 3-week circuit, or a month even. I'm always going to be inclined to suggest longer, because that's the way I prefer to travel. But you know, not everyone has that luxury. You may have your only 4 weeks a year or sort of thing to enjoy somewhere, but this is a really, you know, a good opportunity to see a certain type of island life or beach life or Indonesian tropical life in such a small area. I do think we're getting to the southern, I think the southern ends at the end of this road or path. So in there it's jungle apparently. There's a sort of a tepid lake, brown lake, that emits a little bit of a unpleasant odor, but you don't ever smell it because they're smart enough to put accommodation places away from it. So here's some boat builders. I like the fact that you can still walk around the island and see this sort of day-to-day life going on. Selamat pagi, apa kabar? Yeah, good, thank you. I like it that you can walk around the island and still see these elements or components of local life, you know. And I just worry that, you know, there's going to come a time where that's still not going to be there. But anyway, it's here now, so it's still, hi. It's nice to be able to see it. All right, I think we're getting close to the end. You see quite a few of these older vessels landed on the beach, and people included into the decor of their bar and restaurant or whatever. And this to me is like your picture postcard sort of typical image here. It's just sitting here at sunset, which I'll show you tomorrow perhaps. It's really quite beautiful. You have your favorite cocktail or your bintang or whatever it is you like to do or drink on your sunsets, and you're looking out over this really picturesque, beautiful scene. I don't know, I should probably stop. I should probably stop gushing over it really, but there you are. I like being here, and it's just so nice to look at every morning. It's a vastly different scenario to waking up with the prospect of going to work and dealing with all those Western responsibilities. We don't want any of those. Here's a chap sort of lining the bottom of his boat, insulating it or waterproofing it with a. Selamat pagi, Pak. Apa kabar?
Baik.
Kerja.
Kemana?
Ya saya mau jilat kaki Gilli Meno. Maafkan saya, silakan. I don't want to interrupt people while they're going about their day, but they're so willing to stop and have a chat. And it's a genuine interest when they're asking about where you're from, and even though it's, you know, often the first question out of everyone's mouth, like once you get past those initial sort of social pleasantries, people really are interested in you know, in your background. I was talking to one guy last night. I'm not going to go that way because there's music playing and that'll be a YouTube copyright offence while I'm talking. I was talking to one guy last night, Indra, the barman, and he was saying that he's never left the island. And well, you know, firstly, why would you? And secondly, that you know, sort of stimulates his reasons for asking all the questions. So he's sort of living vicariously through the stories that you tell him. And so once you get over the initial obvious questions they're going to ask, they're really genuinely interested in who you are and what you do and what your dreams are and what you want and, you know, what's happening in your life. And but, you know, it might come as sort of a surprise that how could a person never leave this small place, this small environment, and have no other experience other than Gilli Meno. But I get it. I understand why you'd never leave here, I've got to say. But anyway, we move on. Selamat pagi. I've come off the beach line or beach path around the island, which I was initially going to just follow and do a complete circuit, but I don't know, I think variation's good, so I've just, the next path I decided to take. And the good thing about being on an island so small is you're hardly going to get lost for that long, and someone's going to put you back onto another path that's going to get you to where you want to go, or you're just going to keep going straight ahead till you hit another beach. So but you know, obviously there are different facets to island life other than, you know, the crystal clear waters and the pristine beaches. There's this interior, and already only a couple of 100 meters into the interior the temperature's increased, and it's really quite warm in here now. There's a lake. I think the lake's to the left, I think. But so yeah, it's really still now. You haven't got that that ocean breeze, and the temperature must have risen 5 degrees in the space of a few hundred meters. Always land for sale. I'm not going to get too into who can own land and what's the procedure and, you know, what percentage of ownership has to be Indonesian and all these types of things. I'm not that guy. There's guys that understand that stuff a lot better than I do, and I certainly don't want to mislead anyone or give the wrong information. And look, you know, the truth is, it's probably informative and people do want to know that sort of stuff, but I'm not interested in it. I'm not interested in land ownership or, you know, making money and these types of things. I've kind of rebelled against that, and hence I'm still a budget traveller at this age. But this looks like a tree that's come undone. They had a really bad earthquake, don't quote me, I think it was about 2018, and people died on people died on Gilli Air and Gilli Trawangan. No one died in Gilli Meno, but Lombok was, there were hundreds, if possibly not 1,000 or so people that were affected by it. And I've been on these islands before, and you'll be sitting in your hammock on the porch. Selamat pagi. Permisi Pak, saya bisa ambil video? Makasih banyak. He's just cutting some local leaves or something. So yeah, I've been sitting in a hammock on the front porch of my hut, and all of a sudden, you know, you feel the rumbles, and it can be quite constant. It can be quite a constant thing, but it's unfortunately part of life living here is the having to contend with, you know, the tectonic plate shift that occurs through I think it's part of the Pacific Rim. I'm not sure. Someone will correct me, I'm sure. But anyway, we'll go a little bit further into the interior. So ya, selamat pagi Pak. Apa kabar? Oh,
Anda?
ya bagus. Mau kemana hari ini?
Saya tinggal di sini.
Oh, okay. Santai ya. Oh, Meno Resort ya.
Ya, Meno Dream.
Banyak orang di sini
Ada ya.
tinggalnya. Bagus. Makasih banyak.
Ya, sama-sama.
He's saying he's full, or he's got a lot of people in, which is good. These little, I think they're Sodomos, horse-drawn carts. At one point they were the horses were quite underfed, and it was a little bit traumatic to see how some of them were getting around, and some are puggy. But now, look, there's a lane we have to go down. It doesn't look like it goes anywhere, so we've got to take that. But it seems, for whatever reasons, that has improved the condition of the horses that are on the island now. They're quite healthy. They look to me to be quite healthy. Obviously, I'm no vet, I can't tell you, but they look healthier, they look happier, and that's good. We want animals to be happy. There's a pool in there that I can see, but I'm not going to put my GoPro over that. This looks like an old resort that doesn't operate, or it's perhaps a local. Oh, no. Well, this is the resort. This is the back end of the resort that we were talking to the chap out the front. It's quite nice. Selamat pagi. Maafkan saya bisa lihat ya.
Oh yeah, it's okay.
Makasih. I'm just apologising for intruding, and I just wanted to look, and they were very cool about it, and people are very cool about it. I wonder at home how many of us would be willing to just let a stranger walk through their family compound or whatever, and without a question or a query. Oh, selamat pagi. Maaf. Oh,
Mana?
pantai di sana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Bisa itu. Yeah. Makasih banyak. Yeah. I thought, yeah, go to the other beach. Yeah, I wonder how many of us would let people just wander through their homes. See, I like this. I know you come here for the turtles and the fish and all the rest of it. And look, there's a little bit of rubbish on the ground. That's probably a bit unsightly, but this very local, authentic. I use this word authentic a lot because that's what I want from my travels. I don't particularly want a beach club or I want to see how the local people live. I'm interested in how they think, what they want, and if you take the time and duck into little lanes and paths like this, you get that opportunity. And okay, today I'm probably not going to sit down and chat with them. Selamat pagi. But this is it. I think this is the centre of the island here. My camera shut off. This is the sort of centre of the island here, where a lot of the locals see a lot of the children of these parents, older people. They'll work perhaps on the bars. And one of the guys I was talking to last night was saying that he does his 12-hour day, 14-hour day. Hello. Does his 12 or 14-hour day, and then he comes back to his family in the village. So yeah, a lot of the workers sort of live in a more central location, live more in a family unit or compound or kampung, but they'll go to the beach and do their work. All right, it's getting hotter and hotter as the day draws on, and yeah, we've probably, I guess we've got 400 meters, 500 maybe more to get to the beach, so we'll see what's ahead. Selamat pagi. Apa kabar?
Bagus, apa kabar?
Baik, baik. Mau kemana?
Mau ke Bangsal.
Oke. Sampai jumpa. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter who you stop and talk to. There's no hesitation, there's no suspicion, there's no sort of, what are you talking to me for? There's no defensiveness, there's no being on the back foot. It's just a really open and honest interaction of, where are you going? Well, I'm going there. How are you feeling today? Yeah, I'm good. How are your family? Oh, this guy's got this guy's that. There's an openness there's an openness and a friendliness that, hello, apa kabar? Baik. Halo, pagi, how are you? Yes, good, senang hari ini?
Yeah.
Everyone's happy. Oh, it's just, there's this energy, isn't there? That, hello. Mau kemana? Oh, maaf.
Hi, sorry, boss.
There's this energy in there, in these little compounds that, you know, it's the hustle and bustle of village life. It's people living in a very, which way do we go, left or right? It's people living in a very different way to the way we live, and I find it really interesting. Look, I think that's one of the main paths, and I'm starting to sweat a fair bit, so I'm going to get to a main path, get to the other side of the beach, and I'm going to stop and sit down and have a drink and enjoy the view. We'll see we'll see whether this is the main road, which I think it is. Yes, as you say, the main road. Isn't it great? It's a main road, it's a path. Looks like there used to be a couple of shops there. Like, you know, we've got to remember that COVID, you know, these people are only just coming out of COVID as well, which decimated the tourist industry, and a lot of the younger guys, or a lot of the people were telling me over the past couple of days between Gilli and Gilli Meno that, you know, they were going back to Lombok, they were going back to labouring, they were going back to selamat pagi. They were going back to labouring and going back to an underpaid position. They were telling me that Lombok doesn't necessarily sort of adhere to government minimum wage sort of levels, whereas here they're well paid, and I guess that's reflective of the economy they're working in. There's a lot of money around, and I guess if you're going to be returning to your home villages or whatever in Lombok, that's probably going to be conditions in the economy that's probably going to be a little less vibrant in all ways. But yeah, so these guys have just come out of COVID, and that, you know, there was the Bali bombings, there's earthquakes, there's COVID. These people are constantly confronted with adversity, you know, and I think there's a lot we can learn from that as well. You know, these people perhaps are not as financially well off as some of us privileged lot from the West, but I can assure you that the majority of the people I meet in places like Indonesia and Nepal and India and other countries, they're vastly happier. They're considerably more content. They're not put in a position where they're going to feel depressed or negative because they didn't attain certain statuses that we sort of apply in the West. You know, whether we're, you know, you often go to a party and the first questions out of people's mouths would be, well, what do you do for a living? Where do you live? You know, did you buy a new car? These sort of things that, you know, if you're driven, or there's a requirement, or you perceive there's a requirement for your society to demand that you have these things, and you're striving towards them, it's a lot of pressure that these people perhaps don't have. You know, they don't have that choice, admittedly, perhaps, but they certainly, I believe, are better situated to have a content or happy life by not having that pursuit. But anyway, I'm rambling again. We must be getting close to the beach now. Hello, how are you? And so we have made it through the island. I guess it was a 15-minute walk through the island, through the middle. Oh, that breeze is so nice, so nice. So I guess this is the main pier, which it is, and this is a little bit more touristy and built up, which you'd understand why. The boats just come in. There's a group of intrepid young travellers striking out into their unknown, or they may be returning as well. Yeah, look, it's fair to say the majority of people that are coming here, they are younger people, and why wouldn't you? You have that opportunity, you want to get out and you want to explore, but you know, there's still an element of there's still older people, fewer in number, but just as willing to sit down and have a chat and talk about things. Right, so that's the main pier. Over here, this is where we came from yesterday. This is Gilli, Gilli air, Gilli air,
Gilli Meno.
Gilli Meno. Yeah, but ini air, air,
Ini Meno.
Ini Meno.
Meno
Sana Gilli air.
air, air,
A-I-R. Ir.
ir,
Air.
air. I'm trying to get the pronunciation right because I've been coming here for so long, and I still don't believe I did. Oh, ir, ir. Oh, makasih banyak. So I've just got fed up with not saying it correctly. So now I've been told shouldn't make that mistake again. So that's where we came from yesterday. That's Gilli air, and mungkin lain kali, Pak. That's where we came from yesterday. This is Gilli Meno, and we'll keep. And that's a woman with a baby tucked under her arm, which is a very, 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 very economical way of carrying a young child that doesn't weigh too much. I don't know, is there anything else I can add? Oh, it sounds like there's music coming, so we've got to turn around because we don't want any strikes. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the northern, or the start of the northern part of Gilli Meno. It's really quite hot on this side. It seems to be sheltered from the June breeze that we... Hello, how are you? It's quite warm. It's sheltered by the island itself. I guess it's the leeward side of the wind this time of year. It seems to be a little bit more development up here than I remember. It wasn't far from here where I had that little bamboo hut many years ago, and it really was just a bamboo hut. There was no toilet or anything. You slept on a mat on the floor, no electricity. You carried a little tilly lamp around with you, and it was really a Robinson Crusoe experience. But this, I imagine, is now the northernmost point of the island. I hope it's not all starting to look a bit samey, and I guess I'm starting now to repeat myself a bit, so it might be the right time to bring this one to an end. Thanks very much for staying with us this far if you managed to get here, and I hope that my commentary hasn't put you to sleep, which there's every chance it may have. It looks like this little massage shop. I'm going to ask if I could... Hello. And if I can watch, this is probably a little bit... Baik. Anda?
Bagus.
Oh, berapa harga massage satu orang? 200, 200,000, yeah? Oh, and lama?
Sudah lama.
Already long. Mungkin 1 jam, 1 hour?
Ya,
Okay.
1 hour.
Okay. Makasih banyak. So that was massage available. Pretty good location to get one, I'd argue. That's 200,000 Indonesian rupiah for one person, which... Hello, how are you? Which is, look, if you want a massage, it's 200,000, I guess, but I know it is considerably cheaper in other places. But, you know, are you really going to quibble and worry about $5 here and there when you're on your vacation? I don't think many people would, and you know, you're contributing a great deal to the local economy. These are nice, these little shells hanging from the tree. I prefer them to fairy lights.